Alright, so we are back, and today we're going to take a look at the X-Transbots Motor Master. So here he is in his truck mode. Rolls good, no issues there. The wheels are on ball pegs, so you can get them to turn, but they are also on these little swivels, and they don't really lock into place either. So just kind of be mindful of that. It's not an end of the world kind of issues there, but just things to just be mindful of. It's probably for transformation, to be honest. And here he is with the MP car. See how they look there. I think he's just a tad too big, but at the same time, you know, semis come in all different shapes and sizes, and you know, so there's nothing here saying that a semi can't be that big or much smaller, like the Huffer. So let's go ahead and get him transformed. So he's not a fun transformer, I will say. He's not terrible, but he's not fun either. So let's see here. He locks in pretty well, though. I will say that. All right, so we want to get these panels here out first, get those down, and then we can pull these arms out like that. That will free up quite a bit of stuff. So then let's just work on the legs for a minute here. So we split the legs apart, and then let's see here. This will fold around. This can fold nowhere yet. Sometimes you just gotta get your bearings with these things. Alright, so this whole assembly folds out like this, and that should allow you to pull the leg down. Okay. And then let's see here. This will fold up in there and there, and this slides forward, and I think we can close this up like that. This comes over here, lines up there. This comes down like this and tabs into place. Right. So tapping in. And then you can fold these wheels to the side like that. And, and then there's a heel spur that's in here. It's kind of a bitch to get to. There we go. So you fold this out, and then this will fold out again. And there's your foot. This kind of sits here, yeah, like that. Doesn't really lock. This part doesn't really lock in, but it's also at an angle where it shouldn't give you much trouble. I do wish this would lock in a little bit better, though. All right, and we'll do the same thing over here. So we want to take this assembly, and this whole thing comes off like this. Slide that up. Fold the foot out. Rotate the wheels around. And then fold out the heel spur. Down, out, locked in. This folds in, in, down, around, and we're done with the legs. Now we can move on to the upper body, which is a bitch. Alright, now we've got these out. Flip this out. And then these will come down. Right? And then the dog snoring in the background. It's not my video without one. From what I understand, a lot of people are talk about that. This untabs here, and this will rotate back, and then we should be able to open up the windshield, and then this torso piece should rotate around if we did things right. Oh, bring the body out. Flip these out. I'll rotate this around. He's just going to town with the snoring. Oh, that's my boy. Alright. So we rotate this out. Things get a little tight in here, and that's one of my biggest frustrations, is just how tight things are. Rotate these in, then this torso piece will come up. Oh wait, we want to hold off on that. So we here, fold this up, and this will lock into place. Right. These come down, 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 and down. These come down. These come down. Now we should be able to lock this into place. Is that right? No, I don't think that's right. Like this. And then there's two tabs up here. Here and here. And there's two corresponding slots in here and here. Now, when it's in truck mode, the two tabs have to plug into both of them. In robot mode, I believe it's just the one that it tabs into. Oh, I don't want to lock that in yet. So we should close up these windows, and then we can bring this up. Now, this is one point of transformation where you got to be careful with when you're going back to truck mode, is these little tabs here. They got really stuck on mine when I was transforming it, and it was a concern of possible breakage. So just be mindful of those. So fold this piece in like that. Then we can fold this in, and then this whole assembly goes in. We take this, and this will lock up into place here. Like that. Rotate the arm around like that. This piece here can just fold up inside there. And then again, what we want to do, fold this piece in like that. In, up, lock, back, rotate. Now we should be able to put this torso back up or into place here, like that. These will fold down and down. Let's go ahead and reattach that head. There's just a clearance issue in there. It's so tight. It's so hard to do. And yes, I'm fully aware that other reviewers have been able to do this without any issue whatsoever. And I'm the only one that's having a problem ever with these figures. But whatever. So we fold these down. This will fold down. Or no, this comes out. And then this comes around like this. Now we can fold this down. in, and everything should lock into place like that. And there we go. Do the same thing over here. So extend the arm, fold this out, fold this down, around, and this will come in. Come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. And there we have Motor Master in his robot mode. And overall, I think he looks really good. He's got some functionality issues. We'll get into that in a minute here, but I do think he looks pretty darn good here. I don't have a lot negative to say about the way he looks. X-Transbots usually doesn't have too much of an issue when it comes to the look of a figure in the end. It's the functionality. So his head is on the swivel. There is a hinge here for the face up to there and down to there. So you got the left or right. He does come with an alternate face. A little angrier. And to do that, you just want to angle the face up, and then you just pull this one off, like most Masterpiece style. And then you can just take this and plug this on. And there you go. Easy enough swap out there. His shoulders do have this butterfly joint. I will say this joint here are looser than the tolerance on the forearm swivels. So when you're trying to just like real quickly move the forearm, you're more likely to just unhinge it from there. So I kind of wish it would have had like a locking option, but you know, what can you do? Ratcheted shoulders up to there, down to there, all the way around, no issues there. Bicep swivel, like we talked about. He does have a little bit of a gap in the back there, so I do wish there was like a panel that would fold up. This whole back is a little unkempt, but it's not terrible either. These little pieces here can fold back, and we'll get to what they do later, but they do fold out. Bicep swivel. Bends at the elbow, pretty good bend, and looks pretty good for the most part till about right there. Then past that, it kind of breaks up the sculpt a little bit, but no issue for me. Wrist swivel, ball joint on the thumb, and then 2 hinges on the thumb. Each finger has 1, 2, 3, 4 points of articulation because they added on this little hinge to get the fingers out like that. I think that was a horrible mistake. So far, they're not giving me any issues whatsoever. However, especially the way it's designed. So, the way this is built is it's just one single piece screwed into this piece. So, if you move these too much, you're going to loosen that screw. And then you'll have to go in and try and retighten that screw here. So that's just, I mean, it's like their hands are a little fragile to begin with. So it's like, why add another joint into it? That's just stupid. It's not a problem. Not a problem at the moment. It can be. I can easily see that becoming a problem. But as of now, it's fine. But, alright. So then let's talk about the waist. Because this is probably the biggest fatal flaw of this figure. So he's got the ratcheted waist swivel, and that works fine. This backpack does have to kind of move a little bit to get out of the way, but not terrible. You can also move it up to there, and you won't have any problems whatsoever, but that's just a little bit of a cleaner look. It's this here. So the entire upper torso is held on by this little piece. If this fails, the figure's, it's done. So I would urge you not to use the ab crunch unless absolutely necessary. I would be hesitant to use the waist swivel. This fails at a number of levels. So one, it's failing on a build level. Because, again, if this fails, I don't have any stress marks. I have heard of people breaking it, and I have heard of people having stress marks through the whole thing. I don't have any stress marks on mine. But if this were to, if this were to break, your figure's garbage. It's just straight garbage. That actually slides back to kind of give it a little cleaner look up front here. So it fails on that level. It also fails on a tolerance level because you go like this and the whole thing falls over. And then, so it doesn't even work for what it's supposed to be. It also is failing at a aesthetic level because that looks awful. It looks like they just basically cut Motor Master in half and he's just hanging by a front little flap, which is what he's doing. And it also fails just like on a technical level because like these little pieces here have little notches in them or little knobs on them. I don't know how well you can see that. But inside here, these things have little grooves in them. And this is supposed to make sort of a ratchet to keep it into place. But it's so loose that it just doesn't work. I mean, it to a very small extent it can, but then there you go. So it's like this, first off, this whole thing should have been die cast. Just straight off the bat. This thing should be die cast to help hold this together because the whole figure's counting on this. And these things should have been a little bit closer together, and it's like, I don't want to bend them because I don't know how durable this plastic is. I don't trust it. So, total failure there. Alright, so you move these little hip skirts out of the way, and his legs can ratchet up to there. Toleranced really well. Ratchet back to there. Just fine. Out to the side. No issues whatsoever. There is a thigh swivel. It's super tight because I think, yeah, this is die cast on these thigh pieces. It does work, but it is tight. Knee bend all the way to there. Given who he is, that's a pretty darn good knee bend. There is a calf swivel. And then the feet, they do lock in. So if you want it to be really stable, you can do that. But then you can untab them, which is a good way to do it. They ratchet all the way up to there. And they don't really go back, but there is a rocker in there that's pretty extreme. So all in all, it works pretty well with articulation. The only things I would do differently myself would be I wouldn't have given those extra hinges in the fingers, but you guys already know what I would do if I were in charge of a third-party company in hands. Swap out hands. Those fingers do give me a little concern. Nothing, no issues really to write home about yet, but not the best look, or the best feels, I guess. And then the waist piece. These pieces here also are supposed to rotate in like this. I forgot about that. Just like that. Alright. He also does come with this gun. It's got this metallic purple on it. Looks decent enough. Plugs in his hand and he holds it just fine. There's just no question. He holds it just fine. It tabs right in. No fighting it. No like, oh man, I hope it goes in. It's in and done. And he comes with the sword, which has got this metallic black on it. And that one tabs in just fine, and he holds it just fine. I will say his thumbs are probably the best thumbs I've seen on a Transformer recently. They just kind of function more like actual thumbs. They're not locked in a position where it's just like, that just doesn't seem natural. And he holds those just fine. I have no issues with him holding weapons, which is a great feeling. Now, the gun has this little tab here, or this little port here, and the sword has one here. And what those do is on the back here, these little pieces that we were talking about briefly, you can take the sword, it's only got it on one side, so you just take it and you can plug it in to that tab, like that. And you can take the gun and plug that in. Actually, we should do it the other way then. So sword on this side, and then this on this side. The sword clicks in a lot better than the gun does, but they both do work. And yeah, so those hold in. Oh, come on. There we go. And so he can hold them on his back. I think it's great. Let's see here. Scale-wise, here he is with the Stunticons I have from X-Transbots. Wild Rider, Drag Strip, and also, because he's right here, here he is with my Megatron, the 3-0 Megatron, until I find a better option that I like. And yeah, all in all, I like this. I mean, I still like this scale. Oh, and here's an Autobot car, even though we already know the scale here. So I do still like this scale. I know it's not correct now. The fans' toys are more correct with the cars. I like the Motormaster scale. That's what I'm trying to get to. He's about the same size of Megatron. Megatron has a little bit of height to him. Depending on the Megatron you have, you could, be a little bit shorter, a little bit taller. But either way, he's around the same size, and that's kind of what we want. We want him to be about that size. Now, he doesn't correspond with the little cars as well because they're so much smaller than him at this point. So it's just like, so there's that. So overall, I think he's a really good figure. I highly recommend him as long as you kitty glove the waist piece. He's probably one of X-Transbots, if not their best built figure. Outside of the waist, there's nothing on him that I feel like, oh man, this tolerance is going to give out, or this pin's going to break, or something's wrong. Overall, I think he's done really well, and he feels really durable outside of that waist piece. That waist piece really knocks him back, though. So for a score, I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. I was going to go 9, but that waist really is concerning, and it fails on multiple levels rather than just the one. So yeah, that's the X-Transbots Motormaster. Next, we'll look at the Fans Toys one, and just see how they compare together. But I mean, this guy's pretty good.